I knew that Christmas was going to go wrong the moment my mother answered the door before I knocked. She didn't wait for the bell. She opened it too fast, like she'd been standing there listening for my car, rehearsing her smile. When she saw me, her face lifted, but her eyes stayed tired. She said, "You made it, not Merry Christmas." Then she hugged me too tightly, like she was afraid I might disappear if she let go. Behind her, the house looked exactly how it always did on Christmas. Too perfect. Tree lit early. Fireplace already going. Music playing just loud enough to fill silence, but not loud enough to drown it. I stepped inside and smelled turkey, sugar cookies, and tension. That thick kind you can't air out no matter how many candles you light. My dad was in the living room, sitting in his chair, remote in hand, volume turned up higher than necessary. When he saw me, he nodded once and said, "Hey." No smile, no warmth, just acknowledgement. Like I was a responsibility he'd already checked off his list. My sister hadn't arrived yet, which surprised me. She was always early, always anxious to get things over with. My mom noticed me noticing and said, too quickly, "She's just running late." I didn't believe her. My Uncle Mark's absence was louder than anyone else's presence. His chair was missing from the table, not pushed back, completely gone, like he'd never belonged there at all. Nobody mentioned his name. Nobody needed to. The silence around it was practiced. Mark was my dad's younger brother, the funny one, the one who used to sneak us extra presents when Mom wasn't looking, the one who suddenly stopped coming around when I was in high school. We were told he was difficult, that he had issues, that he was jealous of my dad's success. We were taught to accept that explanation without asking questions. 2 months earlier, my sister had learned the truth. Mark had called her late one night, drunk and angry, and done protecting a lie that wasn't his. He told her that years ago, when our grandmother was sick, Dad had been in charge of her finances, medical bills, savings, everything. Mark discovered that money was disappearing, thousands at a time. When he confronted Dad, Dad admitted it, said he was drowning in debt, said he'd put the money back. He never did. When Mark threatened to tell the family, Dad told him if he opened his mouth, he would never see us again. No holidays, no birthdays, no inheritance, nothing. And Mark believed him. My sister sat with that information for weeks before she told me. She said she couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't look at Dad the same way. And now Christmas had arrived, dragging the truth with it. When she finally walked in, she didn't take off her coat. She didn't hug anyone. She just stood there and said, "So we're really doing this?" My mom said her name sharply, warning, pleading. My dad muted the TV. Dinner was unbearable. Every sound felt amplified. Forks scraping plates, glasses clinking. My mom asking if everyone had enough food, even though nobody was eating. My dad making comments about the game that nobody responded to. Halfway through the meal, my mom said, "It's a shame Mark couldn't come," and immediately took a sip of wine, like she needed it to swallow the lie. My sister looked up slowly. "He wasn't invited," she said. My dad didn't look at her. He said, "We're not talking about him." My sister's voice shook. "You don't get to decide that anymore." That's when my mom said, "Please, not tonight." Her voice cracked on please. My dad finally looked at my sister. His eyes were cold. "You've been acting strange for weeks," he said. "If you have something to say it." She inhaled deeply. "Why did you steal Grandma's money?" The room stopped breathing. My mom laughed nervously. "That's not funny." My sister didn't blink. "I'm not joking." My dad stood up so fast, his chair scraped loudly against the floor. "You don't know what you're talking about." My sister said, "Mark told me everything." My mom turned white. "Mark?" she whispered. What is she talking about? My dad's voice rose. That man is a liar. My sister slammed her hand on the table. Then explain the bank statements. My mom looked between them. What bank statements? My dad shouted. This is ridiculous. My sister pulled out her phone, hands shaking. Withdrawals. Hospital fund. Every month, for 3 years. My mom's voice broke. Tell me this isn't true. My dad hesitated. That hesitation destroyed something permanently. I did what I had to do, he said finally. My mom screamed. Not words, just sound. My sister cried openly now. You let us blame Mark. You erased him. My dad shouted back. I kept this family together. That's not together, I said. My voice surprised even me. Everyone turned to me. I said, that's control. The doorbell rang. My mom jumped like she'd been shot. When she opened the door, Mark stood there, older, tired, holding his coat like he wasn't sure if he should come in. He looked at my dad and said calmly, I told you this would come out. My dad yelled, Get out of my house. Mark nodded. Gladly. Before he left, he looked at us and said, I never abandoned you. I was exiled. Then he was gone. My mom collapsed into a chair, sobbing. My sister slid down the wall. My dad stood there breathing hard, surrounded by the ruins of his authority. Nobody opened presents. Nobody said Merry Christmas. Later that night, as I sat alone staring at the tree, I realized something had ended. Not just the holiday, the illusion, the idea that silence equals peace. That was the Christmas our family finally told the truth. And nothing has ever been the same since.